Christmas Eve. Golden lights cast shadows across my red dress. Mom says, "You look just like when you were little," while Dad pours wine, chuckling. Then the scissors flash. 1 cut, 2 cuts. My hair falls onto the plate of glazed ribs. My cousin's laughter exploding. It's tradition. The camera's recording. I stand, blood trickling down my neck, and understand tonight, I'm no longer their obedient daughter. I am the storm they summoned. My name is Nora Hale, and until tonight, I thought I knew what family meant. The dining room glows with that particular warmth reserved for Midwestern Christmas gatherings, candles flickering against burgundy wallpaper, the artificial tree blinking in the corner. Everything staged for the perfect holiday portrait. Mom's china gleams under the chandelier, each plate arranged with military precision. The honey-glazed ham sits center stage, surrounded by dishes I've watched her prepare since childhood: green bean casserole, sweet potato soufflé, cranberry sauce that nobody touches but everyone expects. "You're so quiet tonight, sweetheart," Mom observes, though her eyes never leave her wine glass. Elaine Hale, pillar of the Maple Harbor community, treasurer of the Hale Heritage Fund, keeper of traditions. Her pearls catch the light as she leans forward. "Is everything all right at the bank?" Before I can answer, my cousin Britt bursts through the kitchen door, phone in hand, recording everything, 29 years old and still chasing viral moments like a teenager. Her bleached hair swings as she pivots, catching Dad carving the ham, zoom in on the spread, pan to me. "Getting content for my close friends," she announces, though we all know her definition of close includes 3,000 strangers. "The Hales do Christmas right." Dad Victor raises his glass. To family traditions. I should have recognized the look that passes between them, should have noticed how Mom's hand drifts to her purse, how Britt's camera angle shifts to center me in frame. But I'm thinking about next week's presentation to the Northbridge Mutual Credit Committee, about Cal waiting for my text that I've survived another family dinner, about how my hair finally grew past my shoulders after the divorce, a small victory, a reclaiming of self. "Stand up for the toast, Nora," Dad insists, his voice carrying that edge of authority from 30 years of managing factory workers. "Don't be rude." I stand. Mom moves behind me, her hands on my shoulders. "We should get a photo," she says, and I feel her fingers in my hair, gathering it like she used to when I was 7, before school pictures, before dances, before every moment she decided I wasn't quite right as I was. "Hold still, sweetie. Let me just..." She pulls my chair back suddenly. Dad's hands clamp my shoulders from behind. Firm, practiced. Add a pretty bow for the photo. "What are you..." The words die as I see it, the hairdressing scissors, professional grade, appearing from Mom's purse like a magician's trick. Not kitchen shears grabbed in spontaneous cruelty, but tools brought with intent. "It's tradition," Britt shrieks with glee, her phone inches from my face. "The Hale women always start fresh after heartbreak. Your mom did it after college. I did it after Jeremy. The first cut slices through 18 months of growth. I hear it, that specific sound of sharp metal through keratin, irreversible, violent in its efficiency. Hair falls onto my plate, into the cranberry sauce, across the white tablecloth. "Stop!" But Mom keeps cutting, her movements quick, determined. "You're hurting." "Don't be dramatic," Dad says, his grip tightening. "It's just hair." The scissors catch skin at my nape. Hot wetness trickles down my neck. Still, they don't stop. Chunks fall uneven, brutal. Mom's wine-sweet breath against my ear. "You needed a change anyway, after David left." My ex-husband's name is the final insult. I wrench free, standing so fast the chair topples. In the mirror above the sideboard, I see myself hair-hacked to irregular lengths, shortest at the crown, longer pieces hanging like accusations. Blood dots my collar. Britt howls with laughter, still filming. "Oh my God, the look on your face." I grab her phone. The screen shows her Instagram Live 387 viewers and climbing. Comments scroll. OMG savage. Is this real? Family goals. Give it back. Brit lunges. But I've already seen enough. Already screenshot the evidence. Nora, you're overreacting, Mom says. Scissors still in hand. Sit down. Let me even it out at least. I look at them. My parents. My cousin. 3 people who should protect me. Not perform for an audience. The ham continues steaming. The tree lights blink on. Off. On. Off. Someone on Brit's live stream just sent a laughing emoji worth $5. You filmed this. You planned this. My voice sounds strange, calm. This wasn't tradition. This was content. Everything doesn't have to be so serious, Dad says, already pouring himself another scotch. It's Christmas. Family time. I pick up my coat, my purse. Touch the wet warmth at my neck, my fingers come away red. Where are you going? Mom demands. We haven't had dessert. I made your favorite to document this. I hold up my phone. To the emergency room. To a lawyer. Brit snorts. A lawyer for a haircut god. You really can't take a joke. I pause at the door, turn back. They're already resettling. Mom wiping hair from the tablecloth. Dad resuming his carving. Brit checking her viewer count. No, I say, but I can take everything else. The door closes on Brit's confused. What's that supposed to mean? But I'm already in the snow, already planning. They want to talk about tradition. I'll show them mine the Hale who doesn't forgive. The urgent care waiting room smells like disinfectant and defeat. 3:30 a.m. on Christmas night. And I'm not the only one here nursing wounds from family gatherings. But I doubt anyone else is Googling assault charges Michigan while waiting for their turn. This isn't the first time they've done this. The revelation comes in waves as I sit under fluorescent lights, holding gauze to my neck. Memory after memory surfaces, recontextualized through tonight's lens. Senior year of high school the night before yearbook photos. I'd woken to find my hair mysteriously shortened, uneven. Mom claimed I must have sleepwalked, stressed about college applications. I fixed it best I could, she'd said, trimming it into something presentable but nothing like what I'd planned. The photographer had asked if I'd been ill. Everyone's yearbook signatures mentioned how different I looked. Junior prom Brit, then 14, had accidentally gotten hair removal cream mixed with my conditioning mask. Only quick washing saved me from complete baldness. The family story became how sensitive I was, how I couldn't take a joke, how Brit was just trying to help me get ready. My wedding, Mom insisted on doing my hair herself, then cut my carefully grown locks the morning of to fit under the veil properly. The hairdresser had been mysteriously canceled. David's family had whispered about it during the reception. The pattern emerges crystal clear every milestone, every moment I might shine. They found ways to diminish me, and always with that word tradition, as if cruelty becomes acceptable through repetition. My phone buzzes. Cal texting. How was dinner? Did you survive the Hale family Christmas spectacular? I send him a photo of my destroyed hair, the medical bracelet, the blood-stained collar. His response is immediate. What the fuck? Where are you? I'm coming. While waiting, I scroll through Brit's social media. She's deleted the live video, but the internet never forgets. Her followers have screen recorded, shared, commented. Her latest post, uploaded an hour ago, shows her with perfectly styled extensions. Hashtag John Christmas Makeover. Your family fun. Tradition continues. I dig deeper. 3 months ago, she signed with Halo Glow Hair Gummies, a supplement company targeting young women with hair transformation journeys. The contract, partially visible in her celebration post, mentions authentic before and after content and genuine hair growth stories. Monthly value $8,000. The timeline clicks. She needed dramatic hair content. My hair was the perfect prop. But that's just Brit's angle. What about my parents? I pull up the Hale Heritage Fund website, established 15 years ago, allegedly to support local family initiatives and cultural preservation. My parents run it like their personal kingdom. The recent newsletter, sent December 1st, promises a return to traditional family values and showcases photos from last year's Christmas dinner. Everyone smiling, civilized. My hair still long because I'd skipped that gathering for a work trip. The fund's public tax filings are illuminating. Listed expenses include family bonding events, traditional celebration preservation, and surprisingly, multimedia documentation equipment purchased 2 weeks ago. The exact model of camera Britt was using tonight. Cal arrives as the nurse calls my name. He takes one look at me and his jaw tightens. Tell me you're pressing charges. I'm considering all options. The examination room is cold. The doctor, a tired woman who's seen too much, documents everything: the laceration on my neck, the bruising on my shoulders from Dad's grip, the scalp irritation from violent cutting, photos from multiple angles, official medical record. Domestic incident, she asks carefully. Family tradition, I reply, and something in my tone makes her pause. Those are often the same thing, she says. Printing forms. You'll want these for your records, and perhaps for other purposes. Back in the waiting room, Cal has his laptop out. I pulled the cached data from Britt's live stream before she deleted it. Also got viewer comments, timestamps, everything. He's a sound engineer, methodical about data preservation. I love him for this, the quiet competence, the immediate pivot to helping without questions or judgment. There's more, he says, showing me his screen. Your mom sent Britt an email this afternoon. Subject line, tonight's plan. The email is brief but damning. Remember to start recording before the toast. We need authentic reaction footage for the New Year's newsletter about maintaining family traditions in modern times. Make sure you get the whole thing. V will hold her steady. I've got the good scissors. Premeditated. Coordinated. Filmed for profit and promotion? Your dad also transferred $500 to Britt yesterday. Cal continues. Memo line says, Christmas bonus for content. I think about next week's presentation. How I'll stand before the credit committee with this hack job hair, trying to project professional competence while looking like I lost a fight with a lawnmower. Think about the whispers, the questions, the damage to my reputation built so carefully after the divorce. They wanted to put me back in my place, I say, understanding finally dawning. Mom never forgave me for the divorce. It made the family look bad. Dad thinks my career makes him look unsuccessful. And Britt just wanted content. Cal closes his laptop, takes my hand. So what do? I'm not letting you face them alone. Not anymore. I squeeze his fingers, feeling the fight crystallize into something harder than anger. We document everything, build the case, then we make them pay. Legally. Every way that matters, legally, financially, socially. I touch the bandage on my neck. They called it tradition. I'll show them consequence. My phone buzzes. Mom texting, don't forget we have the fund's New Year's gala next week. Wear something nice. And maybe a wig. The casual cruelty of it, the assumption I'll still show up, still play their game, ignites something final in me. Next week, I tell Cal. They're going to learn what happens when you cut the wrong person down. You need to document everything properly, Mara Pike says, spreading photos across her desk like evidence in a murder case, which, in a way, they are evidence of killing trust, dignity, the basic assumption of safety among family. Mara and I were roommates at Michigan State, both pre-law before I switched to finance. She stayed the course, now running a small but fierce practice specializing in civil suits and protective orders. Her office overlooks downtown Maple Harbor, close enough to the courthouse that she can walk there in heels without breaking stride. The medical report is solid, she continues, tapping the urgent care documentation. Laceration, bruising, scalp trauma. But this, she holds up Cal's screenshot of the live stream. This is gold. Timestamp shows 10:43 p.e. December 24th, clear view of the assault in progress. 387 witnesses. They're saying it was just a haircut, I tell her. Family fun. Battery is any harmful or offensive touching without consent. They restrained you, cut part of your body, drew blood. That's textbook. Mara's fingers fly across her keyboard. The premeditation email makes it conspiracy. The live stream makes it profitable battery. And using charity funds, that's wire fraud. She pulls up legal precedents on her screen. Cases where seemingly minor family disputes became criminal matters. Michigan law doesn't have a family exception for assault. Blood relation is irrelevant. I don't just want charges. I clarify. I want comprehensive destruction. Mara grins, the same sharp smile from when she'd demolish opponents in mock trial. Then we go multi-pronged. Criminal complaint for the assault, civil suit for damages, and this is the beautiful part, a formal complaint to the IRS about the fund. Charitable fraud is federal. While she drafts the initial filings, I head to Northbridge Mutual's headquarters. The security guard does a double take at my hair but says nothing. Professional courtesy in action. Human Resources is on the 3rd floor. Janet Morrison, head of employee relations, takes one look at me and closes her office door. Jesus, Nora, what happened? I tell her everything, show her the evidence. Her expression shifts from concern to corporate calculation. This affects your presentation next week, she says carefully. It affects my professional image, which impacts the bank's reputation. I know how to speak corporate. I need to file an incident report for workplace security extension coverage. She nods, understanding. If family members are willing to assault me and broadcast it, what else might they do? Show up at the office, contact clients. The bank has protocols for protecting employees from domestic situations that threaten workplace stability. I'll flag your access badge for extra security. We'll have counsel on standby for the presentation in case there's interference. Janet types rapidly. And Nora, document any contact they make related to your employment. Any attempt to affect your professional standing becomes our liability issue. Perfect. Now the bank's legal department has skin in the game. My phone buzzes. Britt has tagged me in a post. Some people need to learn how to take a joke. Hair grows back, but family is forever. Blessed, Jacker family. First, Jacker, get over it. The comments are mixed, some laughing, others asking if I'm okay. One stands out. Isn't she the compliance officer who handles municipal bonds for the city? I screenshot it all, forward to Mara with a note. She's escalating, making it public beyond her followers. Next stop at department. Raj, our senior security analyst, owes me a favor from when I cleaned up his compliance audit last quarter. I need to ensure data preservation for potential legal proceedings. I tell him. He doesn't ask questions, just helps me create authenticated backups of everything: emails, social media posts, cached videos, metadata, all time-stamped, all verified, all inadmissible. Your cousin's video, he notes, pulling up traffic data, hit 40,000 views before deletion. The cached copies are circulating on 3 different platforms. Can you trace the financial benefit? Each view generates approximately 0.003 cents in ad revenue. Sponsored content with that engagement, she'd net around $1,500 just from those views, plus whatever Halo Glow pays for the metrics. Battery for profit. The charges keep stacking. My phone rings. Mom. Nora, this is ridiculous. Janet Morrison just called me about some security concern. We're on the fund board together. This is embarrassing. Then you should have thought about that before assaulting me. Assault, don't be dramatic. We cut your hair. Parents do that all the time. To children, I'm 34, and you drew blood. You're being oversensitive, as usual. Just like with the divorce, always the victim. I put her on speaker, gesture for Raj to start recording. Is that why you paid Britt to make me a victim for content? Silence. Then, I don't know what you're talking about. The $500 transfer. The email about recording the scissors purchased 3 days ago. You went through our finances, public tax records, Mom. The fund's expenses are public domain? You ungrateful. She catches herself. We gave you everything. Private schools, college tuition, wedding, which you've held over me ever since. The debt's paid, Mom. Tonight. If you pursue this nonsense, you're out of the family. No inheritance, no fund distributions, nothing. Perfect. Get that in writing. Would you threats of financial retaliation strengthen my case? She hangs up. Raj whistles. Your family's intense. Not for much longer. By 3 p.m., the foundation is set. Criminal complaint filed. Civil suit drafted. IRS Form 113909, submitted with exhaustive documentation of charitable fund misuse. Northbridge Mutual's legal team briefed and ready. Cal has compiled video evidence into a presentation damning enough to end careers. Mara texts. Restraining order approved. They can't come within 500 feet of you or your workplace. Served within the hour. I touch my butchered hair, feel the bandage at my neck. Every tradition needs its first sacrifice before it becomes powerful. They wanted to cut me down to size. Instead, they've given me the scissors to cut them out entirely. The Hale Heritage Fund's financial records read like a masterclass in small-town corruption disguised as charity. I'm in my home office at 11:30 p.m., 3 monitors displaying different pieces of the puzzle. Cal brings coffee, sits beside me as we dissect 15 years of charitable giving. Look at this. I highlight a series of transactions. Every December for the past 5 years, they've withdrawn between $3,000 and $5,000 for family tradition preservation events. But the only events in December are their private Christmas dinner and the New Year's gala. The gala legitimately costs money venue rental, catering, decorations. But the Christmas dinner? That's at their house. The food purchases show up on their personal credit cards, which they then reimburse from the fund. Is that illegal? Cal asks. It's tax fraud. They're writing off personal expenses as charitable deductions. But here's where it gets interesting. I pull up Brit's LLC filing. Collins Creative Content, established 18 months ago. Look at the fund's vendor payments. Monthly transfers of $2,000 to Brit's company for social media management and digital archiving of family traditions. The fund's actual social media. 3 posts a month. All reshares of Brit's personal content featuring the family. They're laundering money to her through the charity. Cal breathes. While claiming tax deductions for it, I cross-reference with Brit's influencer income. She reports this as business income at a lower tax rate, while my parents write it off entirely. The IRS is going to have a field day. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. I find venue rentals for community tradition workshops that never happened. The dates correspond with my parents' vacation photos from Florida. Catering expenses for heritage dinners that were actually their anniversary parties. Even a $5,000 traditional costume preservation expense that matches exactly with Mom's new St. John suit. Jesus, Nora. This is systematic. For 15 years. Roughly $12,000 in misappropriated funds annually. That's $180,000 stolen from legitimate charity work. I compile it all into a forensic accounting report, the kind I'd prepare for federal auditors. Every transaction documented, cross-referenced, cited, the kind of evidence that ends in handcuffs. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number, but I recognize the writing style immediately. Dad's assistant. Cheryl. Thought you should see this. I'm resigning Monday. Attached is an email thread from this afternoon. Dad, to Mom. Nora's causing problems. Need to move the fund assets offshore before she does something stupid. Contact Gerard about the Cayman account. Mom's reply. Already did. Transfer scheduled for Monday morning. Brit's next payment needs to go through. First she has bills. Gerard Hoffman, their accountant. Also the fund's treasurer. Also now a co-conspirator in fraud and attempted asset hiding. I forward everything to Mara immediately. Then call her. They're trying to move the money. I say. Beautiful. She responds. Attempted concealment of assets during pending litigation. That's consciousness of guilt. I'll get an emergency injunction filed at 7 a.m. Monday. The accounts will be frozen before they can transfer a penny. Cal's been quiet, reading something on his laptop. Nora, you need to see this. It's the Hale Heritage Fund's original charter, filed with the state. The mission statement reads, to preserve and promote positive family traditions that strengthen community bonds and support vulnerable family members in times of crisis. Vulnerable family members, I read aloud. They've perverted their own mission statement. But then I see it the clause that will bury them. Any board member found to be using fund resources for personal gain or causing harm to beneficiaries shall be permanently removed and liable for triple damages. Triple damages. Every dollar they stole, they'll owe 3 back. Who are the other board members? Cal asks. I pull up the list my parents. Obviously. Gerard Hoffman. Janet Morrison from my HR department, interesting conflict there. And Margaret Brennan, Amy Brennan's mother, the same Amy who messaged me about Britt attacking her daughter. They've been using board positions as social capital, I realize. Keeping people quiet by making them complicit. I check the calendar. The next board meeting is December 30th, the day before the gala. Perfect timing for a coup. My laptop pings with an email from Amy Brennan. My mom wants to talk. She's been documenting things too. Can we meet tomorrow? Then another from a reporter at the Harbor Herald. Ms. Hale, I've heard concerning rumors about the Heritage Fund. Would you care to comment? The dominoes are positioning themselves. I just need to tip the first one at the right moment. Cal stretches, checks the time 2:17. You should sleep. Big week ahead. One more thing. I pull up Halo Glow's corporate website, find their ethics hotline. As a financial compliance officer, I know exactly how to word a complaint that triggers immediate investigation. I report Britt's content violent, deceptive, potentially criminal. Attach the cached live stream, the medical report, the evidence of payment for the assault. Why that company specifically? Cal asks. Look at their board of directors. Third name down Patricia Huang, former Michigan Attorney General, known for aggressive prosecution of domestic violence cases. You're not just going to destroy them, Cal says with something like awe. You're going to make them destroy each other. They called it tradition, I reply, saving everything to multiple encrypted drives. Well, I learned from the best. The Hale tradition of taking what you want and calling it love. Only I'm going to call it what it really is, justice. Monday morning, the Hale Heritage Fund will wake up to frozen accounts, federal investigation, and board members jumping ship. But first, they'll enjoy their weekend, thinking they've won. That I'm the same scared girl who always backed down before. They have no idea what's coming. The confrontation happens at their house on Sunday afternoon, December 29th. I arrive with Mara and Cal, a trinity of determination against their triad of delusion. Mom opens the door, sees us, tries to slam it shut. The restraining order says they can't come within 500 feet of me. I correct. I'm approaching them. Different legal principle. Check with your lawyer. We push inside. The Christmas decorations are still up, including a new family photo above the mantel, them and Britt, all smiling, taken after I left Christmas Eve. They've already erased me from the narrative. Dad stands from his recliner, face purpling. Get out of my house. After we talk, I set my laptop on their coffee table, open it to show the frozen account notice. The Hale Heritage Fund's assets were secured by federal order at 8 a.m. Friday morning. The color drains from his face. That's impossible, Gerard said. Gerard flipped, Mara interjects smoothly. Full cooperation with the IRS in exchange for immunity. Turns out he's been keeping his own records of your requests for 15 years. Mom sinks into her chair. So, you vindictive little I'm vindictive. I pull up the video of Christmas Eve. You assaulted me, filmed it, profited from it. That's not vindictive, that's criminal. Britt storms in from the kitchen, phone already recording. Oh, perfect. The drama queen returns, guys. You're gonna want to see this. Cal steps forward, holds up his phone showing a legal document. Halo Glow terminated your contract at 9 a.m. yesterday. They're also suing for reputational damages and return of all payments. Her phone drops. What? Turns out they have a morality clause. I explain. Assault, even traditional assault, violates it. Also, that woman on their board, Patricia Huang, she's recommending criminal prosecution. This is insane, Britt shrieks. It was just content. Everyone does pranks. Pranks don't draw blood. I touch my neck, where the scar is still visible. Pranks don't require medical intervention. Pranks don't constitute conspiracy to commit battery. Mom stands, trying to reclaim authority. Nora, we're family. We can work this out privately. Like we worked out my childhood, my wedding. Every moment you decided I needed to be humiliated, I open another file, the messages from 17 other victims. Or like you worked things out with all of them. Dad reads over Mom's shoulder, recognizing names, employees, kids, fund beneficiaries, relatives, people they deemed lesser. They're lying. You coached them. The timestamps say otherwise. Some of these are from years ago, sent to friends, documenting what you did. Amy Brennan's mother has been keeping records since 2019. Margaret wouldn't dare. Margaret's meeting with the state attorney general Tuesday. Mara says she's been granted whistleblower protection. The room goes silent except for the grandfather clock ticking. I stand, move to the family photo wall. Generations of Hales, all posed, all perfect. You want to talk about tradition? Let me tell you about ours. Great-grandfather Hale embezzled from the railroad. Grandfather Hale beat grandmother until she died, falling downstairs. Dad, you got away with insider trading in the 90s. And Mom, your sister didn't die in that car accident. She killed herself after years of your psychological torture. How dare you? I dare because I'm done. Done pretending this family isn't built on cruelty masquerading as love. I turn to face them. Here are my terms. 1 public apology, published in the Harbor Herald, admitting to assault and fund misuse. 2 immediate resignation from the fund board and all civic positions. 3 full restitution to the fund triple damages as specified in your own charter. 4 psychological evaluation and anger management for all 3 of you. Or, Dad growls, or I proceed with criminal charges that carry 5 to 15 years, or I proceed with the civil suit that will bankrupt you. Or I leak everything to the media tomorrow morning. I pull up the email draft addressed to every major news outlet in Michigan. I'm giving you 1 chance to minimize the damage, 1 chance to keep this from becoming a federal case. You're bluffing, Mom says, but her voice wavers. Mara steps forward, all sharp professionalism. Ms. Hale has grounds for assault, battery, conspiracy, fraud, tax evasion, and racketeering. The evidence is overwhelming. The federal prosecutor is interested. Take the deal. Britt lunges for my laptop. I'm not letting you. Cal intercepts her, gentle but firm. Touch that computer and add destruction of evidence to your charges. She backs off, finally understanding this isn't a game, isn't content, isn't something she can filter and edit into her narrative. You have 24 hours, I say, closing the laptop. Decide if you want to be the family that made amends or the family that went to prison. Mom starts crying, not real tears, the manipulative kind she's perfected. After everything we've done for you, everything you've done to me, I correct. There's a difference. 24 hours. We leave them there, in their perfect house with their perfect decorations and their perfectly corrupted life. In the car, Cal asks. Think they'll take it? No, I admit. They'll double down. They always do. Then why offer? Because when this goes public, I want everyone to know I gave them a chance. I offered mercy. I touched the scar on my neck. They just don't know what to do with it. Mara checks her phone. The Harbor Herald wants an exclusive. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., right before the gala. Perfect timing, I say. Tomorrow. They'll make their choice. And either way, the Hale family tradition of consequence begins. The Northbridge Mutual Conference Room falls silent as I enter. 22 members of the credit committee, all staring at my pixie cut with the emergency stylist managed to salvage from the Christmas massacre. Good morning, I begin, clicking to my first slide. Before we discuss municipal bond allocations, I want to address the elephant in the room. A photo appears on screen. Me, Christmas Eve, mid-assault. The committee shifts uncomfortably. This was done to me 5 days ago by family members who believed tradition justified violence. I'm showing you this because workplace safety doesn't end at our office doors. When we talk about risk assessment today, remember the greatest threats often come from those we trust most. Janet Morrison from HR nods approvingly. She knows what's coming at tonight's gala. I pivot to the presentation. But I've already won. By acknowledging the attack up front, I've transformed from victim to survivor. Every recommendation I make carries the weight of someone who understands real risk, real consequences. The Maple Harbor Municipal Bond Proposal, I continue, requires particular scrutiny. The backing organization, the Hale Heritage Fund, is currently under federal investigation for misappropriation of assets. Gasps around the table. The fund was supposed to be the gold standard of local charity. How do you know this? Asks David Chin, the committee chair. I'm the whistleblower, I say simply. Which brings me to our new compliance framework proposal. For the next hour, I outline a system that would prevent exactly what my family did using charitable organizations to wash money, hide assets, and maintain power through financial manipulation. It's brilliant because it's specific, born from intimate knowledge of how small-town corruption actually works. This is exceptional work. Nora, David says as we wrap, especially given recent events. Recent events made it possible, I reply. Sometimes you need to be cut down to see the whole forest. My phone buzzes as I leave. 3 texts from unknown numbers, board members from the fund, asking to meet privately. The rats are abandoning ship. But the most interesting message is from Britt. Need to talk. Without them. Please. I meet her at a coffee shop downtown at 2 p. She looks destroyed, no makeup. Hair in a messy bun. Designer clothes replaced with old sweats. They're going to let me take the fall, she says without preamble. Mom called, said if someone has to go down, better the cousin than the real family. You're surprised. I'm their project. Everything I am. They made me. She stops, hears herself. Oh God, that's what you were too, wasn't it? Their project? Until I stopped performing. She pulls out her phone, shows me a message thread with Mom from 3 months ago. Look what she wrote when I said I felt bad about the harassment campaign against the Brennan girl. Mom's text. Guilt is just weakness leaving the body. We're Hales. We don't apologize. We optimize. She's sick, Britt whispers. They both are, and they made me sick too. The difference is you can choose to get better. I want to testify, she says suddenly. Against them. I have everything, years of messages, recorded conversations where they planned these traditions. Not just against you, against anyone who threatened their image. I study her. Is this real or another performance? She sees my skepticism. I know you don't trust me. I wouldn't either. But I'm 29. Nora. I've never had a real job, real friends, real anything. Just content and cruelty. If I don't stop now, you'll be them. I'm already them, but maybe I don't have to stay them. I make a decision. Mara's office, 3:30. Bring everything. She nods, starts to leave, then turns back. The presentation today, I watched the stream. You looked powerful. I looked like myself, I correct. Finally. At 4 p. The Harbor Herald interview begins. The reporter, Sandra Kim, has done her homework. The fund raised nearly $1 million over 15 years, she says. Your parents are beloved figures. Why speak out now? Because beloved figures can be the most dangerous. They weaponize affection, use community standing as shields. I touch my hair. This haircut wasn't about style. It was about control. And if they do this to their daughter, imagine what they'd do to strangers who trusted them. Britt Collins has agreed to cooperate with authorities. Does that change anything? It changes everything. It means maybe one of us can break the cycle. And the gala tonight is still happening. My parents haven't responded to the terms, which means they're choosing to fight. So tonight, the community will see who they really are. Sandra leans forward. You're attending? Oh, yes. Someone needs to document the end of their tradition. At 6 p.m., Cal helps me into my dress, black, severe, elegant. The pixie cut actually enhances it. Makes me look like someone you don't cross. You sure about this? He asks. They expect me to hide, to be ashamed, to let them control the narrative. I pick up my clutch, which contains a USB drive with everything financial records, video evidence, testimony transcripts. But shame is just weakness leaving the body. Right. We're Hales. We don't apologize. You're going to destroy them with their own philosophy. No, I correct, checking my lipstick. I'm going to let them destroy themselves. I'm just bringing the receipts. My phone buzzes. Mara. Injunction approved. Federal charges filed. Arrest warrants issued for tomorrow morning after the gala. After the gala. Because sometimes the best revenge is letting someone throw their last party in freedom, knowing the cuffs are coming with the sunrise. Ready? Cal asks. I've been ready for 34 years. We drive toward the harbor, toward the lights, toward the end of everything they built on the bones of their children's dignity. Tonight, the Hale tradition dies, and from its ashes, the truth gets to live. The Harbor Grand Hotel ballroom glitters with false promise, crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, and Maple Harbor's elite in their finest delusions. I enter at 8:15 p.m., and conversations stop like someone hit pause on the entire room. She actually came, someone whispers. Look at her hair, another adds. But I don't stop. Cal's hand steady at my back. We move through the crowd like sharks through minnows. The Harbor Herald photographer trails us, documenting everything. At the podium, my parents hold court, Mom in silver sequins, Dad in his best tuxedo. They haven't seen me yet. They're too busy accepting congratulations for another successful year of community service. Britt stands near the bar, hair extensions gleaming, live streaming to whatever followers remain. When she sees me, her phone wavers. She's supposed to play her part tonight, the devoted niece, the content creator, the proof of their successful family. Instead, she looks like she might vomit. Ladies and gentlemen, Mom's voice rings out. Welcome to our 15th annual New Year's Gala. Applause. I position myself where they can't miss me, center of their sightline, directly under the main chandelier. Mom sees me first. Her smile freezes like Botox gone wrong. Dad follows her gaze, his champagne glass stopping mid-lift. As you know, Mom continues, voice slightly strained. The Hale Heritage Fund has always been about family. About family, I call out, my voice cutting through the room like those scissors through my hair. Tell them about Christmas Eve. Mom. The room pivots to me. Sandra Kim from the Herald nods to her photographer. They're getting everything. Nora, Dad warns, stepping forward. This isn't the place, isn't it? This is where you celebrate family tradition. Right. Let's celebrate. I pull out my phone, connect it to the venue's AV system, Cal's technical genius at work. This is what Hale family tradition looks like. The Christmas Eve assault plays on every screen. The sound of scissors, my cry of pain, Britt's laughter, their coordinated attack all in high definition for Maple Harbor's elite to witness. Gasps. Margaret Brennan covers her mouth. Several donors step back from my parents like they're contagious. That's assault, someone says. That's tradition, I correct, mimicking Britt's awful joy from that night. 15 years of it. Should we show them more? The Brennan girls' initiation, the Murphy boys' humiliation, all funded by your donations. Mom grabs the microphone. This is a family matter taken out of context. Context. Mara steps forward from the crowd, briefcase in hand. The context is fraud. The Hale Heritage Fund is under federal investigation for misappropriation of nearly $200,000. She hands papers to my father, the civil suit, delivered with an audience of hundreds. This is ridiculous, he sputters. Our lawyer, Gerard Hoffman, he's cooperating with authorities. I pull up the next slide financial records, highlighted and annotated. Every Christmas dinner charged to the fund. Britt's monthly payments for archiving traditions, which meant filming assaults. Venue rentals for events that never happened. The donors are pulling out phones, whispering furiously. Major corporate sponsors edge toward exits. Then Britt does something unexpected. She walks to the podium, takes the microphone from Mom's frozen hands. "It's all true," she says, voice shaking. "Every word. They made me." "No, I chose to participate. I filmed people being hurt and called it content. I took money from a charity to do it." She looks directly at her phone camera. "To everyone who watched and laughed, we weren't funny. We were cruel. And to everyone we hurt, I'm sorry. It's not enough, but it's true." "You little traitor," Mom hisses, loud enough for the mic to catch. That breaks the spell. Board members storm the podium, demanding answers. Margaret Brennan serves papers an emergency board meeting, right now, to vote on their removal. "You can't do this," Dad roars. "We built this fund, on the backs of your victims." Margaret responds, "All in favor of removing Elaine and Victor Hale from all positions." Hands rise throughout the room, unanimous except for two my parents, standing isolated at their own gala. Mom turns to me, mascara running. "You've destroyed us, your own family." "No," I say, taking the microphone for the last time. "You destroyed yourselves. I just refused to be buried in your wreckage." I pull out the USB drive, hand it to Sandra Kim. "Everything's on here." Financial records, victim testimonies, evidence of conspiracy. The Herald has exclusive rights. "The FBI will be interested," someone says from the back. It's Patricia Huang from Halo Glow's board, attending as a guest. I've been in touch with prosecutors. The room erupts. Security moves in as my parents try to leave, but Mara stops them. "You're not under arrest tonight," she says. "That's tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. sharp. Enjoy your last night of freedom." The crowd parts as I walk toward the exit. But I stop at the cake, a massive creation celebrating 15 years of family traditions. I pick up the ceremonial knife, the one they use every year for the first cut. For a moment, everyone freezes, wondering what I'll do. I set it down gently. "I don't need to cut anything else. You've already cut yourselves down to size." Cal meets me at the door. Behind us, the gala implodes, donors demanding refunds, board members calling lawyers, my parents screaming at each other about whose fault this is. Britt appears beside us, mascara streaked, but somehow lighter. "What now?" "Now you rebuild," I tell her. "Without them, it's possible. And you," I touch my shorn hair, feel the power in its absence. "I already have." We walk into the Michigan winter, snow falling soft on our shoulders. Behind us, the Harbor Grand Hotel blazes with scandal. Tomorrow, arrests. Next week, trials. But tonight, the tradition of the Hales ends with truth instead of scissors, justice instead of jokes. And for the first time in 34 years, I'm free. The federal courthouse in Grand Rapids stands like a monument to consequences. 3 months after the gala, I sit in the gallery as Judge Catherine Wells reads the verdict. Guilty on all counts. Mom collapses into her chair. Dad's jaw clenches so hard I can hear his teeth grinding from here. Wire fraud, tax evasion, conspiracy to commit assault. The charges stack like the years they stole from everyone they hurt. Sentencing is set for April 15th. Judge Wells continues. The defendants will surrender their passports and remain on house arrest with electronic monitoring. The gavel falls with finality. The sound that ends the Hale dynasty. Outside the courthouse, Sandra Kim waits with her photographer. The Harbor Herald has won a state journalism award for their coverage of the scandal. My pixie cut has grown into a short bob, professional but edged with defiance. "How does it feel?" she asks. "Like justice," I say simply. "Not revenge, justice." The civil settlement was signed last week. Triple damages as the charter specified $540,000 returned to the fund. Now, under Margaret Brennan's leadership, my parents' house is for sale. Their cars, their jewelry, their carefully curated life all liquidated to pay what they owe. Britt stands nearby, talking to her probation officer. She got community service and mandated therapy in exchange for her cooperation. She's working now, really working as an assistant at a local nonprofit that helps domestic violence survivors. No cameras, no content, just quiet attempts at redemption. She catches my eye, nods. "We're not friends, may never be, but we're no longer enemies. We're survivors of the same twisted system." The fund is doing incredible work now, Margaret tells me as we walk to our cars. "Real charity, real help. Your courage made that possible." "It wasn't courage," I admit. "It was exhaustion. I was too tired to keep pretending." At Northbridge Mutual, I've been promoted to Senior Compliance Director. My presentation about extending workplace safety beyond office walls has become required training nationwide. They call it the HAIL protocol, protecting employees from domestic threats that could impact professional life. Cal meets me for lunch at our favorite restaurant overlooking Lake Michigan. He's been my anchor through depositions, testimony, the brutal cross-examinations where my parents' lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, unstable, jealous of Britt. "Any regrets?" he asks, like he does every week. "No," I answer, like I do every week. And it's true. My phone buzzes, a text from a number I don't recognize. "Ms. Hale, my name is Jennifer Martinez. I'm a prosecutor in Ohio. We have a similar case family using a charity to fund abuse. Your testimony would help. Would you consider consulting?" This is my life now. The woman who killed a tradition and lived to build something better. That evening, I stand in my bathroom, scissors in hand. Not the violent kind from Christmas Eve, but professional shears I bought myself. I trim my own hair, now a ritual of autonomy, of choosing what happens to my body. In the mirror, I see the scar on my neck has faded to silver. A reminder, not a wound. The news plays in the background. Victor and Elaine Hale were sentenced today to 3 years federal prison for their role in what prosecutors called a grotesque perversion of charity and family. Their victim, daughter Nora Hale, was present but declined to give a statement. I didn't need to speak. The evidence spoke for itself. My phone rings. It's Britt. "I got accepted," she says without preamble. "Social work program at Michigan State, starting fall semester." "Good," I tell her, and mean it. "That's good." "I'm in therapy, real therapy, not the kind our parents called therapy where you pay someone to agree with you." She pauses. "The therapist says I have tendencies toward narcissistic behavior, learned patterns, but learned can be unlearned." "Yes," I agree. "It can." There's silence. Then, "Do you think you'll ever forgive them?" I consider this. Forgiveness would require them to acknowledge what they did was wrong. They still think they're victims. So no, not forgiveness. But I've released them. They don't live in my head anymore. How? By refusing to let their tradition define me. By building something better. After we hang up, I water the plants in my apartment, living things I've kept alive through this brutal winter. Spring is coming to Michigan. The ice on the harbor is breaking. Tomorrow marks 1 year since I announced my engagement to Cal. We're having a small ceremony, just 20 people who've proven themselves safe. No scissors, no cameras, no traditions except the ones we choose to create. I pull out the court documents, run my fingers over the official seal. The state of Michigan versus Victor and Elaine Hale. They thought they were the state, the standard, the tradition everyone should follow. They were wrong. The final papers arrive by courier at 7:45 p.m. The restraining order, now permanent. They can never contact me again. Not even after prison. I am legally, finally, free from their reach. I sign where indicated, hand the papers back. The courier, a young woman with kind eyes, says, "I followed your case. You're brave." "No," I correct gently. "I'm just done." "There's a difference." She leaves, and I stand in my doorway watching the sunset over Lake Michigan. Somewhere, my parents are in federal holding, waiting for transport to prison. Somewhere, Britt is studying for her first social work exam. Somewhere, other families are gathering for dinner, some with love, some with the kind of tradition that cuts. But here, in my space, with my chosen family, with my shorn hair growing back on my own terms, I am exactly who I was always meant to be before they tried to cut me down to their size. The tradition of the Hales is over. The tradition of truth has just begun. I close the door, lock it twice, and walk into my life scarred but whole, reduced but not diminished, free in every way that matters. The gavel has fallen, the scissors are silent, and I am still standing. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment and let's connect. Please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts on this story. Your experiences and perspectives matter, and I'd love to hear how this resonated with you.